Hello, hello. Welcome. Good morning if you are in Brazil, minha terra, or afternoon if you are in Europe or Asia. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining, guys. It's going to be exciting. Uh, I'll be very honest. I don't have a hard script for this. So the idea is that I'm going to build a few dashboards for my apps that are on the App Store and Google Play. So I want to automate that and have a dashboard for me on Looker. I was going to do this offline. If you don't know me, I'm the owner of easyappreports.com. And what we enable app companies to do is what I just described. Right? It's about automating all your reporting, basically. And now we got into a point where I want to build new templates. We do have a few, but I want to build new ones because those that we already have at the moment, they are around. I mean, there's the essentials, which is kind of a little bit of everything that you have from the App Store Connect, but there's also specific reports around specific kinds of metrics, right? So for example, this one, it's all about the crashes and ANRs, and then we compare that to your installs, uninstalls, active devices, and so on. And then we have a similar one with your ratings and reviews and subscriptions, etc. But I want to change this because I do demos all the time. And then let's say, for example, sometimes it is a gaming company or is an app that sells subscriptions, or they just sell in-app purchases, or they don't sell anything. It's like a bank, for example. It's just a login, and they want to see, okay, how many users are installing the app and how many of them are active, what their users are saying, etc. So the plan here is to build new dashboards around use cases. So that's what I'm going to do. And I decided to do this live because as I'm building this stuff, there's a lot of details, right? Because first of all, before you start building your dashboard, you need to know what are you doing to home, what kind of metrics you want to pull, what kind of visualizations you want to create. And then after that, there are different metrics that you can use to talk about the same thing, right? So for example, I could have a view where I have my installs against my uninstalls because I have an issue with churn. So keeping an eye on uninstalls is important. I have clients that have this thing with like looking at the updates or redownloads. So it really depends from case to case. And then you can build all of those things, but then you have to know how to use the filters, which tables to use, etc. And that's where a lot of people get lost. So I said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to do this live because you can see my process. And hopefully, actually, after all these videos, I can create some kind of blueprint or even a small course teaching people how to complete all of those steps that are necessary to build a great data visualization. Cool. I see that there are some people watching streaming for the first time in multiple platforms, so that's cool. Most people are probably on LinkedIn or YouTube. So we have the live chat open, so you can drop me questions as I'm doing stuff. I'm not going to do a presentation. So this is going to be me working, basically. You could watch someone playing PS5 games, but here you are. It's okay. And that's it. So I'm going to be talking about the things that I'm thinking, basically. So it's going to be really kind of a stream of consciousness kind of video. Hopefully that's cool and entertaining enough for you guys. That's going to be some background music as well. Okay, so by the way, so if you are watching, I see that you are. Let me know like who you are, where are you from, do you work in the app industry? I guess yes. What kind of apps do you guys have? Let me know, because then of course I can also touch upon those your use case maybe during this session that we have today. Okay, Cool. So we're going to get started but just before that, so I'm planning a few sessions, right? So it's going to be, I think, 4 sessions. And in each session, I'm going to build a different template. The first one for today is the use case is I have an app. I don't monetize it. So it's maybe a bank or public transportation or something that you can just log in and you pay nothing basically to use that app. And yeah, so I want to see how my app is doing. I want to see my year to date, week on week data. I want to see my acquisition, all the different countries, the traffic sources, my ratings, my reviews. So that's a use case that we're planning for today. Next week is going to be subscription apps, right? And I think we can leverage what we do today because a subscription app will also have the installs and downloads and all of that stuff that I just mentioned. So we can just slowly kind of build up all that stuff. Cool. Hi, Elia. Nice to meet you. Okay. Yeah, so the video is going to be available on YouTube later. No problem. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start on Notion just to plan the dashboard that I'm building today. So this episode 1, we're going to plan and then build. So within the planning, there's a few questions that we would like to answer before we start building. Because yeah, we can go straight to Looker Studio and start pulling a lot of data, yada, yada. But that can be overwhelming if you don't know exactly what we're building. And actually, you can spend many, many hours or days building stuff. Because if you're not sure what's the end state, then it's kind of trial and errors, and you have to make a lot of mistakes and get feedback from people, etc. So we're going to try to minimize that by doing just a little bit of planning. Okay, it's going to be fast. So I want to know, who is this dashboard for? How will this person use this dashboard? What problem does it solve for that person? And here, of course, you can also have multiple personas. Then after that, if we know what problems do we want to solve, so for example, I'm a marketer and I want to follow my download targets, for example. So that's a problem that I'm going to solve. Okay, so if that's a problem, then the metric that you want to see is downloads, and you want to see this per day or per week or per month, and then also per app, maybe also per country. So we're going to list all of those things, because then when we go to Looker Studio, we already know what we have to build. And then thinking about that, what's also the structure of the dashboard, right? What are the pages that are going to contain the different tabs, and what are we going to add on each of those tabs? So after we do this, we start building. So it's just, then there's some brainstorming, because I think when we're planning, we're thinking about one thing, and then when we see the actual chart and the actual data, then we might think, maybe this is not the best way to visualize this. Instead of a line chart, should be a bar chart or a table, scorecard, etc. So that's the idea, right? So let's try to understand what we're building by exploring those, because maybe there are better ideas that we can implement. Then we're going to refine all of those charts, and then in the end, we're going to set up a daily email digest that I could receive from my inbox every day in the morning, for example, where I see how am I doing against my targets, for example. Cool. Okay. ASO manager. Yeah, so I see there's a lot of ASO people following us lately, and a lot of customers from India now and Southeast Asia, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, but the majority of people, I think, using the tool that I'm going to show you now is from the US and Europe. That's changing. Nice. Okay. So before we jump into our dear Looker Studio, and then I'm also, of course, going to show you how do you use Easy App Reports to pull all your data from Google Play and the App Store. Before that, let's answer these questions. So we said that the use case is free, or I think the best way to put it is a monetized app. So it could be a game as well, by the way. App per game. So that's the use case that we have. And then in terms of who is it for, I think we have different personas. So the people that I see using us the most, it's really marketers for acquisition. I'm going to say acquisition because it's both organic and paid. Good. Then I also have business analysts. Which are responsible for creating marketing and leadership. But it could also be customer support, for example, or sales. Then another persona is product managers. And they are interested in the activation metrics plus what I call the voice of the customer. So that's your ratings or reviews. So what are the customers saying about it? And then maybe also the crashes and ANRs. Or I can be the owner. So I to see my apps growth. Okay, very high level. Okay, and then how would all these different personas use this dashboard? I think we already covered that on the same question. So let's just put it here. And what kind of problems does it solve? Well, we automate the dashboard, right? So you don't have to do 15 different clicks every day in the morning just to find your installs per country and then your ratings and then your crashes. No, it's going to be just in one place. There's everything there. So it's going to save every 30 minutes or an hour maybe every day of just building that and filtering and maybe exporting the data and so on. The other job to be done is to track our results. So if I'm investing in UA, if I'm doing my App Store optimizations, then of course I want to follow up on those results, right? And that's what the dashboard is going to help us build in the end. Also increase visibility on key metrics for the whole company. So I'm a marketer creating this for me, but then when I build a dashboard for it and there's a link and I share inside my company, then suddenly this becomes something that anyone can use, right? And it's very convenient. We're also going to set up a daily digest, like I said. So it's not something for just one person to use. It's for the whole company. It helps create that data culture that we like so much to talk about. So I think those are the three problems that we solve. This is a very high level, by the way, because for example, we could talk. Okay, for example, I have targets per country to follow. I want to keep an eye on my active user. So the result here can be many different things. And I think we're going to cover that when we dive into this, right? So we're going to have something with the acquisition metrics. We're going to have stuff with activation and retention as well, with crashes, with the voice of the customer. And then this is also something that the business analyst needs, because that's maybe a request that they are getting from other teams. Cool. Okay. And then thinking about, so let me make a table, because we talked about acquisition, we talked about activation, retention. So let's get specific. So I'm going to list the metrics and dimensions that we want to use. Okay. There's going to be plenty. So let me create a few rows here. Okay, good. Let's push this to the bottom. So acquisition, already the main thing is the downloads that you have. Then, and I think this is also cool that we talk about it. There's a distinction between the general downloads or installs, and then also the store performance stuff. So on Google Play, if you want to see, for example, your impression conversion rate and installs, it's not called installs, it's called an acquisition, which is different from a download. So I think we want downloads on a high level. And then here we want to see this per app, I'm not going to say date, okay, because by date, of course, country, and maybe my app version. And then store impressions, and the conversion rate, and it's acquisitions on Google Play, and it's total downloads on the App Store. So let me put the names from both App Store and Google Play side to side. Cool. And then I want to drill this down, right? So again, app, again, country, but I think we can also go into the traffic sources. In the case of Google Play, we can also have, so I'm going to say GP for Google Play. I want to have my breakdown by search term, maybe UTMs as well. So that's interesting. I could have for the App Store the product pages. The only problem that, like, I don't have product pages. I only have a small app to do some tests. So I will not have it, but I can show you how you would build that. Cool. So I think this gives us what we need. So high level for acquisition. So I want to see my downloads, and then the store funnel, that's how I call it. So that's the impressions, conversion rate, and total downloads. In the case of the App Store, sorry, let me just, we also have the product page views, of course. Then I can also have my promotional content from Google Play. Orgasm acquisition. I can also have a look at my updates and redownloads. That's cool. And then I want to see this basically by the same stuff, right? The app, the country, app version. Yeah, app version can be interesting. So promotional content, we have the promotional content itself as a dimension. So what do I mean by dimension? So it's things that you can drill down your metrics into. So a metric is my daily downloads, for example. And then a dimension of those downloads, it is the country, because I can see these downloads by these many countries. So, or I can see these downloads by app version, or I can see it by all the different apps that I have on my account. So there are multiple dimensions. I'm sure that we are going to find more when we go to Looker and start exploring all of this. Cool. So I think for acquisitions, okay, let me know here if you remember something else. I mean, this is going to be just one bucket. activation and retention. And here is going to be all about the active users, active devices or active users. And then all the qualitative stuff. So all my ratings and reviews. What else? I can't remember by heart. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to our website. On the wiki here, we have a list of all the reports that are available within Google Play and the App Store. So let me have a look. So for example, for the App Store, trends. So trends is everything. Your installs, downloads, updates, in-app purchases, etc. Then this is just subscription-related stuff. This is the reviews, and this is the stuff that we already added there. Then from Google Play, it's installs, store performance that we already talked about. This is all sales-related. Yeah, okay. Then let's also do then the crashes and ANR. And then this, I mean, it's probably the same dimensions, just app and country. Let's see what we come up with. App version is also interesting. Or I could see this. Yeah, let's explore the data. I'm sure that once we get into it, there's much more detail. For example, here we have even the replies that you can see. So I think that's enough planning. Okay, so now we already have a fair idea of what we want to build. Cool. And what's going to be the structure? So I'm thinking kind of a home page. So this is going to be summary of all metrics that I have. And then I'm going to have an acquisition folder and retention folder. And then on the inside, then I'm going to have all those breakdowns, right? So I'm going to have my start funnel. I'm going to have all the something per source. I just remember, for example, we have the page type. In the case of the App Store, for example, we can have the same by the product page. Just again, I don't have this data, but we could have that. Oh, that's also interesting. That's very, very interesting. So it's per country. I don't think we have to repeat acquisition, right? Okay. Also per account a bit. Maybe it's just country. And then what I'm also going to build is a common request. I want to see a specific country or set of countries. So usually when you have an app, you have like one big market, could be the US, for example, and then Europe together is another cluster, and then you have Asia and you have Latin America. Or you have really more diversified clusters. So for example, I could have all the English-speaking countries like Canada, Australia, UK, US, etc. So it really depends on your case. And I see a lot of people want to build this specific views per country. So let's build that. I think that's going to be cool. Okay. Then for activation and retention, it's about active devices, ratings, reviews. The reviews are going to be a problem for me because I have this is a demo data set, right? It's not real, the data that I have from Google Play. And the data from the App Store that I have, which is real, is very small because we just I bought an app just to have some data that I can do my dashboards, but there's not a lot of reviews on it. So we have to use our imagination a little bit as well. Of course, if you're running your ASO program, UA program, or if you're product manager of a big app, of course, you're going to have all of those metrics for you. Cool. Okay, and then maybe here, let's also have something around updates and redownloads. Nice. This all like looks like a lot, but actually we're going to just build one and then copy paste, or maybe just make one page with all of them together. Let's see what works best. Get my coffee. Okay, so let's get started. I hope you're not sleeping yet. Again, guys, I have the live chat open. So if you want to send a question, or maybe, for example, now I just made my list. What do you think about this? Is this enough? Is this too much? What would you add? Of course, we're kind of limited to what's available on the App Store and also to our use case, which is kind of a free, non-monetized app or game. In order to be able to connect your data to Looker Studio, you need easy app reports. So basically what we do is that we connect directly to the APIs of the App Store and Google Play. We fetch that data for you, and then you can visualize that on Looker. The cool thing about it is that every day we do the work of knocking on Apple and Google's door and asking, hey, do you have new data? And if they do have, then we bring that for you. So that means that you're going to create a dashboard with some data, and then tomorrow when you look at this, there's going to be new data for you there, just like magic. So that's what we do. I'm going to log in on my account just so you have an idea on how this works. So I'm going to log in with my account. Oh, okay. Yeah, because we're doing some changes. So I'm not going to be able to show you the logged in area for now, but maybe by the end of the stream, we can do it. So let's dive right into this, okay? Hey, Caio. Let's go. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at this. I want to start with the homepage, because honestly, this is just a drill down of whatever is in here. So I'm going to aim for this, and then the rest is history. So on Looker, there are two ways of doing this. You can create a data source, which is you're going to connect your data, or you can create a report from scratch. Like both ways work. My favorite way is to always start with the data source, because I then have something to work with, and then if I want, I can bring more data. So let's do that. So data source. I'm going to be using BigQuery, but there's also the option of using one of our native connectors. I'm not going to do this because I'm using, again, it's a demo dataset, which is stored on BigQuery. So I'm going to use that, but it is the same process. If you're using a connector, or if you're using a Google Sheet or BigQuery, it is the same thing. So here I have all my reports from BigQuery. You can see here that there's this project where I'm storing all my data. And these are the real data sets. So you can see that I have one for Google Play. And then here's all my tables, right? So my crashes, earnings, installs, promotional content, rating, reviews, sales, store performance, subscriptions. So as you can see, so it's very database-like. So if you are a business analyst or a data person looking at this, you already know what this means. If you're a marketer and maybe you don't know this, so this is super simple. So this is a table, and within that the table, you're going to find all these different metrics and dimensions that we talked. As you can see, this is very self-explanatory, right? If you want to installs. If you want ratings, go with ratings, and so on. But of course, again, there's a documentation. You can click here, and then you can see exactly what each of those tables contains. So for example, if I'm looking at Google Play installs report, this is what I have. My package name, which is the app, the device, and all of these different metrics. If I look at ratings, then this is what I have. And I'm not really tied to just one. So in one dashboard, I can have data coming from multiple different reports or data sources. So that's what I mean when I say a data source. Cool. I'm going to start with Google Play and just my installs per country. So I'm going to label this. So this is my demo GDC. So GDC is Google Developer Console. I'm going to connect. I already have all my data sources, by the way. I'm just doing one so you see it. But the next one, I'm just going to bring them, and I don't have to do this process ever again. So just so you see here, so these are all the fields, right? So the installs, the date, user installs, uninstalls, active devices, etc. So you can already see some of the stuff that we want to bring. So let's create a report. The first thing, and that's the same with any dashboard, is the downloads. That's the main thing that we want to see. I'm going to build this thinking that you have iOS and Android app. So that's also interesting here. So, and I have an Android and iOS version. If you only have one, then of course you just bring data from the App Store or only from Google Play. In this case, I'm going to work with both. It's going to be a bit more complex, but that's fine. Okay. So when you first open your dashboard, it looks a bit intimidating, right? Because you have this package name and it's all strange, right? Actually, I just realized that I'm pulling the data from the wrong thing. It's demo data. So it's installs country. Sorry. Okay, cool. So I have the package name. By the way, the package name is your app name. So again, if you come to the documentation, you're going to see that package name is the example here. It's this address, right? So it's your unique ID on Google Play. So Google Play doesn't give you the name. I did this so it's easier to read. But if you open this for the first time, you're going to see probably some numbers. So that's the unique identifier of your app on Google Play. Cool, but this is strange. A record count. What the heck is a record count? I have no idea. Actually, I do, but I don't want to explain now. But if you click here, you're going to see all these fields on the right side. And these are the metrics that we want to see. So for example, I can bring the date and I can bring my install events. So I'm going to remove the record count. The record count is just how many rows do you have on your table for that thing. You can ignore it for now. So that's it. So you can see now that I have my app, and this is the date, and this is the install events. Okay, this is already interesting because now I can see my installs per day. And if I click here on the headers, I can sort this data, right? So if I can sort by the package name, then it's not interesting, right? Because this is out of order now. I could order by install events, and then I would see the day with my highest amount of installs. Or I think it makes more sense in this case to order this by date, right? So now I'm going to start building it, and things are going to speed up a little bit. So we can move on, but we do have a question. So question from Yuri. Hey mate, where did you get the data in the BigQuery dataset itself? API that plays console. Yeah, exactly. So that's why you want to use easy app reports. So we get the data from the API for you, and then we can store that on your BigQuery account. So you can either use the common Looker Studio connector, or you can have the data on BigQuery. And then the cool thing about having the data on BigQuery is that the data is really yours, and it is on tables, because you can maybe join all the different tables to build a more interesting data set. Cool. Okay. So what I want to start with a nice chart. And on this chart, I want to see my downloads per day. I think that's going to be my front page. So I'm going to do a few things here. First, I don't like these numbers here. They're not necessary. So I'm going to remove these row numbers. I'm going to make this smaller because half of the page is going to be for Google Play and half for the App Store. So I need a little bit more space. Cool. I'm going to start with something very simple here as well. Let's start with a header. Let's see. So this is my app. So my free app board. Cool. We're also going to work on the design later, but for now, I guess what it is. Okay. Cool. So this is super important. Every time I'm building a dashboard, I always start with a table and then I build a chart. A common mistake that I see people doing is that they come here, they pull the scorecard, and then they say, oh, this number doesn't make sense. Yeah, of course, because it's not filtered by date. You have these different apps, you have these different countries. So the best thing is to always start with a table, because with a table, for example, if I want to see what's inside here, I just drag this field. So for example, I want to see this per country as well. Now I have it, right? So if you want to investigate your data, the table is by far the best way of doing that. So don't get ahead of yourself and start with a time series or scorecard. Start with a table always. Okay, let's speed things up. So now I'm going to do the opposite. So I just duplicate this table. I select time series. I could go for a bar chart if you prefer that. That's also cool. But now you can see it, right? So you can see now basically my install events per day. So dimension day, the install events, and then I have this breakdown as well. Because I have multiple apps, then I can also have this. By the way, you also notice that I have a lot of data. So there's data from 2019 here. This is probably not very interesting, right? I don't want to see this much data. This doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a date filter to use to control this page. So just come here, control, date range control, add one here, and then you can select a date range. You can select here. But then if you do, when you refresh, you're going to lose this. So I'm going to actually select here. So I'm going to say last year. So the difference about doing this here is that if I refresh this page, then the filter is still on. But as you can see, nothing changed. But that's because with BigQuery, you have to select what's the date range dimension that you want to use. I'm going to select both. There's only one field for the date, so we're going to use that. And now it is filtered, right? And I'm going to order by date. Okay, so the latest data that I have is from the 14th of December. Nice. Okay, so this is what I have. So these are my installs per day. Okay, but then you can say now, okay, but it's two apps, doesn't make sense. Maybe I want to separate this. So it's the same process. I'm going to add another control, and there's a few ways to filter your data. I'm going to just go for the drop down, which is the the easiest and I think it's more useful one. And I can select what I'm going to filter. Is this a country filter? Or in this case, I want to separate my apps. And I already know that the field for that is the package name. So I'm just going to select package name. Cool. And now there we have it. So if I only want to see, let me put on the view mode. If I only want to see my downloads from this app, I select this. Cool. Now it's filtered. And then you can do the same thing for other filters, your app version, your country, maybe specific date, whatever. Cool. Okay. By the way, now, I mean, if you're filtering by app, then maybe you want to remove this, right? Because then it doesn't make sense. Or you can do the opposite. I'm going to leave both apps because I want to see it, because it's an overview. And then instead of breaking down per date, I'm just going to break down per package name. So this is the total installs that I have from this app in this period. Cool, huh? If I want to make this more interesting, there's a way to compare this to a different date range. So for example, I'm looking at 2023 and I want to compare this to what happened in the year before. So if you come to the right side, there's this comparison date range. I'm going to say that I want to compare this to the previous period. I try to always go with previous period, because if I select a week, it's going to select a week. If it's a year like now, then it's going to automatically select a year. Cool. So now I see that I had 362,000 install events last year, and that is 3.7% more than the year before that. There's a way to customize this. For example, if you want to change the color of the arrow or all of those things, you can do this on the style tab. For now, we're going to keep this very simple. Okay, so this is, well, so this is Google Play. Easy peasy. Why is this? So sometimes Looker does stuff like this, like it's stuck. See, I can't change it. It's okay. But in those cases, usually like after you do a bunch of operations, it starts freezing a little bit. So I just give it a refresh, and then there we go. Now it works. So this is Google Play. We can also bring the icon and stuff. For now, I'm going to keep it simple. So these are all the installs that I have. I want to do the same with the App Store. With the App Store, let's go back to our wiki. Okay, so App Store-wise, it's different, because Google Play, if you notice, they have a table for each set of metrics. For the App Store, you have trends or analytics. I can show you what that's like. So this is it, right? So you either have this or this. And these are completely different data sets. So this is what trend is, and this is what analytics is. So let's start with trends, because that's the essential one, I would say. So I'm going to just, again, start with the table. I'm going to remove this data source. Okay, stuff breaked. There's red here, scary, but it's easy to fix. So I'm just going to select a new data source, and then I already have here sales and trends. So this is now bringing the data that I have from the store. I think the problem that I'm going to have is that this is a fairly new account. So I don't really have data from last year, I think. So I'm gonna have to improvise Of course, you probably don't have the same challenge as I do. Okay, so there's something else here. No problem. Let me just have the units. I have the title. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. That's what you get for doing things live. Huh. Nothing. Maybe it's because of the package name. Oh, it's filtered. Okay. So see here. So this is the kind of thing that's hard to get day to day. You see that there's only one point here. Probably I clicked on something and this automatically filtered by September 12, 23. And then I don't have data for this day. So I'm going to just refresh. Okay. Because when I refresh, then it loses the thing. Okay. Cool. Interesting. So what you notice is that this data set is different. So let me do the same here. Sales and trends. Cool. It says Apple. Why does it say Apple? Because I'm breaking down by provider. No, I want to break down by the title. How do I know this? Yeah, if you come here, click on trends, you're going to see the full documentation. So we describe each field. You could also just come here, sales trends. If you add it, then you see field by field. Nice. So there's something interesting here, right? Because I have my app, which is charge animation, and then I have this weekly $2.99. This is an in-app purchase. And the reason why I have it is because Apple organized their data by units. So a unit is an app install, update, re-download, in-app purchase, etc. The way to fix this is basically to make a filter. And there's a field called the product type name. I can break this down. So if I add it here, now you see that I have this many. It's a bit buggy. Let me also put a name here. Let's refresh. Nice. Okay, so you can see here my paid in app installs. Okay, doesn't matter. These are my updates. These are my re-downloads. These are my in-app purchases. Okay, and we want to filter this, right? And what it says here is free or paid app installs, right? I really want to show you the full text, but Looker is not helping me. Okay, never mind. So what I'm going to do, I could add a different filter like this, but I'm going to do this differently now. I'm going to click here, add a filter. I want to see only installs. I'm going to say A because it's from Apple, where the product type name contains app install. Okay. Maybe it's case sensitive. Don't remember. It's actually a better way to filter this, but anyway. Okay. Cool. So now I have my installs again. Only my installs. And then I'm going to apply the same filter here. Oh, again, I did the thing with the filter. Okay, let's filter here. I'm going to refresh. Nice. Okay, now I have oranges and oranges, right? So I have my installs from Google Play and I have my installs from the App Store. Of course, I have different apps. So it's strange because this is the Beyond app and the Easy app. And this is the charging animation app. But of course, in your case, I guess that you have the same app, right? So it's the Flappy Bird and the Flappy Bird, and you can just compare them side to side. Cool. Now I'm going to speed things up. I'm going to build this rather quickly. So the first thing I want to do is to create scorecard. So basically, I want to have, again, I want to have a summary of all of this. So I'm going to filter by this app. Then what I'm going to do to create scorecard is simply copy paste and then chart time series. Good. Okay. I have the date here is my install event. So in this period, I had these many installs basically. There's something off here, but we can check that later. Let me just build the thing. Okay, I can add a drop shadow. Let's see again what are the metrics that we want to build, want to bring, sorry. So it's downloads, start funnel, acquisition, updates, redownloads, then active devices, ratings, crashes, etc. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to need more space. Where is that again? So I come to theme and layout. And then I want to have a bit more room here. So maybe this is too much. Okay, 1200 is enough. So I'm thinking instead of doing side by side, I'm going to do this in a different way. So these are my install events. I also want to see how many uninstalls I had. So now it's playtime. So we're going to bring a lot. I also want to see my store performance, right? So I'm going to add data. Oh, sorry. BigQuery, Easy App Reports, demo, store performance. Cool. And now I want to see, so these are my acquisitions. This is like a funnel, right? I could build it like a funnel. We do have a template where I do that. But I want to see my visitors. I want to see my conversion rate. To set this as an average. Okay, cool. Should I also add this as a percentage? Yes. Nice. Okay. So this is my star funnel. I could make this different. For example, let's say I want a different color, slightly. So here it's my install and uninstalls. Now I want to see my ratings, reviews, ANRs. So same process. I'm going to bring now my ratings. So go here, select the table. So overview is enough. Can ignore that message. Record count. Don't want a record count. I want the daily average rating. Okay, let's bring the daily average rating now. This will not make sense, right? This is a huge number. Okay, now this makes more sense. It's a very bad average rating, but is it true? So you can see sometimes when you're working with percentages, you have to come here and set this as an average, because what it's doing, I can show you. So let's do the opposite process. Let's bring a table. So this is the thing, right? If I look at the data, basically what I have is this number per day. If I don't set this to average and leave this as a sum, it's going to sum all the daily averages together, which doesn't make any sense, right? Hopefully that was easy to understand. So this is the daily average rating. I want to see the amount of ratings itself. Total average rating. Let me just see. No, this is not make sense. Let me bring again another data source. I want to have the reviews, for example. Then the trick I do, because the App Store, they don't give you a field with the amount of ratings per day. There's no like daily ratings. So what you need to do is you have to come here. You bring, for example, the review text or review title, or maybe the star rating, because not all ratings have reviews. So I'm going to bring the star rating here. The date is going to be the date that the person submitted. And then, no, not average. So these are all. So this is the number count. Okay. So this is the count. So this is my rating. So the amount of ratings that I received, basically. So I received basically 1,000 ratings. Nice. Okay. So I receive 1,000 ratings and my average rating is 0.95. It's a terrible rating. Nice. What else? Active devices, crashes, ANR. Cool. This is maybe too granular, but let's go. Same process. By the way, I'm doing this one by one, but after you connected all the data sources, then you don't need to do this again, because you already have it. And that's why the way people love the templates. Because then you don't have to do any of this, which is nice. So I had 248,000 crashes. So that's why my ratings are so low. I'm having way too many crashes. Cool. Okay. Then I'm also going to do the same to get the ANRs, and then it's done. We have all the metrics. I think we're missing the active devices. There's a problem here, because active devices is a cumulative number. So if I sum everything, it doesn't make sense. If I average this, it doesn't make any sense as well. I mean, that is going to give you the average active users on the period, but that doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to filter this. I'm going to add a specific date range. It's going to be like from, let's say, let me get it. In this case, I'm going to get a fixed date, but you could set this to yesterday. And that would give you, okay, how many active devices you had yesterday. No, this is a range. Okay, this is 2019. Jesus. 23, December 14. Good. Okay. So there you have it. It's there. So I had 251,000 active users. I want to remove the spark line, but maybe, yeah, if I just set it to white, and okay, good. Why I don't have a trend line here? Because that wouldn't make sense. So because this is an absolute number, basically. Okay, so this is very ugly now. So let's fix that. I'm actually going to remove this. Also going to remove this. Now, because I just want to have my summary, right? And then what I'm going to do, and maybe we're going to leave that for the next session. I don't know how you guys are feeling. I want to have links here. So for example, I want to drill down on events. I want to drill down on visitors, conversion rate. So I'm going to have the links to see the details of this page, this chart, sorry. If this makes any sense. Okay, and then I'm also going to group this on the way that we planned. So I'm going to call this Google Play acquisition. Customer acquisition. The thing you also have to be mindful with Looker is that it can become slow. If you start adding a lot of charts, like I'm doing here, you're going to feel noticeable performance impact, which is not what we want, of course. Yeah, for example, now just a second. Okay. Why is it not enabling me to? Oh, okay, I'm done. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to make this transparent. I'm going to create a box for this, and then I'm going to order this forward. Maybe this is too light. Okay. Cool. So now I have the acquisition part. Now this is going to start to get interesting. I'm going to add another shape here, just to create a bit more breathing room. I wish they had a shortcut. Maybe there is, and I don't know. So I don't know if you can see it. So basically, I'm giving this a bit more room. It's going to be right, and I want to use a different font as well. If you guys have a preference, I like Lato a lot. Okay, cool. So now things are going to start looking more interesting. So now I just bring this matrix here. So this is, I mean, I could say this is retention. And then I would bring this here. Not sure. I'm actually thinking to do something like this. I think this will work better. So this is my star performance. Nice. Okay, good. And then I'm going to leave the active devices here for now. I think that's reasonable. But I must say I'm not convinced yet, but maybe we'll find a better solution. Let's just continue. And here it is. Ratings. Just call this quality metrics. It could be, some people call this hygiene metrics. And then we could bring the uninstalls here as well. Yeah, that's something for us to digest a little bit. Okay, so this is all Google Play, by the way. So what I'm gonna do is to make this all orange. So that's the annoying part of Looker sometimes. Okay, and here on the top is going to be just a menu, kind of. And I'm going to use the same color as a background. You'll see why in a second. Okay. Then this is white. And call this my app dashboard. So this is all Google Play. Nice. And now I just have to repeat the process for the App Store. If you wanted to have, of course, both, because maybe, for example, if I'm really thinking about it now, we could drop the store performance, for example, and bring some of this hygiene metrics here. And that's it. I could also have store by store, but it really depends on the use case again. And the use case is the person has both. So let's pretend that this is about having the same app on both Google Play and App Store at the same time. So it would make sense to have this like this. Cool. Cool. So the same thing now we're going to duplicate. Do we have enough space? I'm not sure. No, we don't. So I'm just going to stretch this a little bit more. Nice. Cool. Okay, let me think about something, because for the App Store, let's also look at this. I know that I have to replace the App Store data, but let's just have a look on how it is so far. Okay, so we managed to create a nice summary with all our main Google Play metrics. And now we're adding the App Store. The thing I'm thinking is that we don't really have crashes and ANRs for the App Store. Also, I don't remember that we have active devices. Oh, we do. We have active users, and we do have uninstalls, but it is called deletions, but it is the same. We do also have the store performance. So here we're going to only have 2. And I didn't want to have a full row, but for now, let's have it. Let's have it, no problem. Okay, hidden metrics. I'm really tempted to remove a lot of things here, to be honest. But we do have it, so I'm going to just duplicate and then have a summarized version. That can also work. Nice. Okay, now I'm going to replace all of this, basically. And for the App Store, so now we are going to use multiple reports. So the first one is going to be the install. So that's on sales and trends. That's straightforward. So I'm just going to bring again my units and use the filter that we created, because we just want the installs. I'm actually going to rename this. This is also something that we have to do. So these are my app installs. By now, my uninstalls and the active devices, that's available on analytics. So remember that I explained about the different reports. So if you want to have impressions, product pages, etc., that's only available on analytics. This data is not available on the API, but on Easy App Reports, you have a Google Chrome extension that enables you to get these data points. So I already did that. I already have the data. So I'm going to come here, select analytics overview. And then again, so I'm going to do the thing that I told you. I'm going to have a table. And now it's a bit different. So we have the value, and then we have all these different, we call it measures. And here you have it. So it's updates, total downloads, and what we want is the deletions. Right, so I want to create a filter where the measure equals deletions. So say deletions. Okay, deletions. Again. So this, so I'm going to just do the same here. It's the measure. No, sorry. The value, and then filter for deletions. Okay. So bad news. I have more uninstalls than installs. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, happens, I guess. Happens. Okay, then the same thing for the active devices. I'm actually going to copy paste this here. I'm going to call this active devices, and then instead of deletions, I'm going to filter this by active users, right? Oh, I forgot. It's devices. Okay. And then it's the same thing that I did before. So I'm going to make this advanced. So today -2, because there is a delay. On the App Store data. So if I try to bring data from today, it's going to fail 100%. Even if I try to bring data from yesterday, depending on the hour of the day, that might also fail. So I always put D -2 or 3 at least, because then it's guaranteed that I will have some data. So as you can see, only 7. Again, this is a very small app. Probably for you have hundreds of thousands, maybe million of active devices. Cool. Star performance, kind of the same thing. So we want to bring the impressions, conversion rate, and also the total downloads. This is very good. It's a very good reminder for me that why these templates are so helpful. Because I'm building this now, and then the next person who uses this doesn't have to go through this process. Okay. So same thing, filter. Probably want to change this structure, by the way. You want to have probably columns instead of this that I'm doing. Nice. So you get the idea. And then for ratings, it is the same thing. So let me just add the data. These are reports. Let's use the actual data. This is a real data set. Again, select the date. Okay, so I had 5 ratings. Not a lot. And then my average rating. So instead of count, I want to use average, 1.8. Also not very good. So just so you see what's beneath this. Again, so bring this as a table. This is the rating, and yeah, so these are all the ratings that I have. And this was the rating that I received, just 1s and 1.5, basically, not a lot. But you can see that it is true. So anytime you want to compare, again, just use a table, right? So you can see that the summary here is 1.8, which is average. But if I select this to count, then I have 5. So it's all correct. Good. So I'm just going to duplicate these two with the conversion rate and total downloads, and I think our summary is done. Which is nice, because I think this is a rather long episode already. Cool. Let me just see the name again. So I think it's really conversion rate. Yeah, conversion rate. Okay. Conversion rage. Conversion rate. I think we got too ambitious with contains conversion rate. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is one of those moments when you're trying to do something and okay, that's why there's no data, because I was filtering by impressions and conversion rate at the same time. Does it make sense? Okay, and again, because this is a percentage, we want to have the average. of this. Yeah, so 2.91. Then here I want to have my total downloads. And we are done. Well done. Nice clean charts. Looking super cool. Thanks, Yuri. I'm just improvising, to be honest. So I appreciate it. That's what I meant by, when you are planning, you imagine one thing, but then when you actually see it, then maybe you change your mind. Because, for example, now I have to scroll to see everything, which is not ideal, right? This is not ideal. So maybe, for example, we want to get rid of half of these metrics, so we have everything condensed into one view. I think that's an improvement that we can do, but I'm going to keep this version because maybe, you never know, some people might like this, so they can use this as a template. What I'm going to do next is to add a few filters, so we can break this down by country, by app, etc. And then we're going to have links, and these links are going to point to a page where, for example, I'm going to have my app installs per country. I'm going to have my store listing visitors per traffic source, right? So I can see Google Play, search, explore, ads and referrals, etc. Let me just give you a taste of what that looks like. I'm going to transform this into a table, and then let's just do visitors and acquisitions per traffic source. Yuri, I saw your post, by the way, that you are explaining this. Let me just... You were explaining what all of this means, right? So here, this is an example of a summary of the store performance. So now I can see my visitors and my acquisitions per traffic source: Explore, search, third-party referrals, and ads and referrals. I could also add the country or the search term instead of the traffic source, country, the app, or by date, etc. So these are all the things that we're going to build on the next episode. Then we're going to drill down all of these metrics in specific pages. I can show you what that looks like a bit. We have this master template. So if you come here, for example, that's a drill down that we could use. If your units, so there's kind of, for example, a nice map. So now I can see my downloads per country, for example. That's nice. Or my sales. So these are my subscriptions per device, per product, per period. So that's all next steps that we're going to do. But for now, I think we can call it a day. So everybody, thank you very much for coming, for watching. Again, if you want to connect your App Store and Google Play data to Looker Studio and have your own dashboard, just go to easyappreparts.com and sign up. You don't have to build this yourself because this is what we do, right? So we create a template, you just copy and paste, and you don't have to do any of this. Of course, you can add more filters, maybe change the colors, all that good stuff. But we are doing our best to minimize the effort on your end. So you can just click on a button, you load the data, you see it, you use it, and you move on with your life. So that's it. So same time next week. So I'm going to do this every Tuesday. It's noon, but it was noon here in Portugal. So that's 9 a.m. Brazil, I think 1 p.m. Germany, and 4 p.m. if you are on India. Yeah, and I hope that you join me. So follow me. I'm going to send the links so you can have a reminder for the next time. I'm going to stay just for a few more seconds as I'm saving this and preparing for the next session. So if there's any comments or question, doesn't have to be about what we just did. It can be about app analytics in general, or about the data sources, etc. I'd be happy to respond. Okay, but thank you very much. That was pretty cool. Very happy. Like I was thinking about doing this for a very long time, to be honest. Because yeah, I teach people to do this all the time because they come to me and say, "Oh, like, how do I see my uninstalls?" I say, "Oh, okay, so I have to click here, bring this thing, filter, yada yada." So I want to have these videos because I can then now give it to people. Say, "Hey, like, do you want to see how to bring uninstalls?" So look at this clip from this session, and there you have it. Okay, so meanwhile, let me again. I have to give this a name. So this is a non-monetized app. We only have app there. I'm gonna create a new page. So this is going to be the, how am I calling this? Is it the home? Front page. Yeah. Just a summary or the overview. Then what I can do here, I'm going to duplicate this page. I'm going to have a simplified version because I really didn't like the long thing. I don't think we need the ANRs. ANRs. Okay, I can see that the size of the boxes are different. Okay, so the hygiene metrics, the thing. Now we're going to do the same here. I'm going to remove this. Okay. Could even, I don't have more here. Oh, because I don't have crashes for the just align this. Let's align everything. Yeah. If we do this, I think it's even better. want to remove something. I'm going to remove this. It makes sense to have the same metrics on both sides. Now just Google Play. Cool. Okay. So this is my summarized view, and then we could have tables here with more details. And then again, I'm going to have the links. I'm just going to leave one so we know what to do next. And then I'm going to close the stream. So I'm going to call this C details. Something like that. And then maybe here. Yeah, something like this. So we're going to have these links. I think it would be cool now that we cleared the space. It actually makes a lot of sense to have a table, because maybe, for example, we can already have the installs per country and the ratings per country, which is something that people really like seeing. And then from there, we go to the specific views. Okay. That was it. Thank you very much again. And I see you next week, Tuesday, noon, in Portugal. Ciao, ciao.